Hello, Misters and Misses, and welcome to, well, actually, we're not should be welcoming you to anything. Today, we're going to be doing a tier list, which is something that I've never done before. And it actually took me a while to set up this video, but this tier list is going to be on, if you read the title, my ranking on all of the Plants vs. Zombies plants. Now, I know this topic has been done to death before, but I just, saw all the other people doing it, and I wanted to do something unique for today, so I decided to do a tier list video. Also, I have a cough, so yeah, it's gonna be, if you ever hear me coughing, you'll know why. But, so, now there's a couple plants in Plants vs. Zombies, in the game that I won't be ranking, because they're just general use for one world things, like lily pad and flower pot, all of those. So, for all of those ones, I'll be doing this tier, which I did not mean to do that. I'll be doing another tier here that will be for primarily, let me just rename it, that's not what I wanted to do. It'll be primarily used for unranked. I probably spelled that wrong, but who cares? Yeah, I spelled it wrong. As you can tell, this video is totally not scripted, and that looks weird. But this is not scripted at all, so I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just trying to make sure everything doesn't just go to crap. Alright. So, yep, there it is. So, let's get ranking. First, let's put everything in the unranked section. That'd be lily pad, flower pot, and that's all I can see so far. So let's actually start ranking. Pea shooter. He is useful-ish near the beginning, but from my own personal experience, he just starts to fall off of use. Other pea shooter variants such as snow pea and repeater kind of take his place. So, I'll be putting him in C tier. Sunflower. Pretty useful. It's actually probably the most useful sun producer in the game besides twin sunflower. Yep, there it is again. So, I think I'll be putting in A tier. Cherry bomb is quite useful for dealing with large groups of zombies. Oh yeah, by the way, if you haven't played Plants vs. Zombies, then this video is not gonna make any sense to you. So you should probably just stop what you're doing and pick up your phone or something and download it. Or if you're willing to buy it, that would be cool as well. Anyways, cherry bomb. He's able to blow up zombies in a mass area unless if it's a gargantuar. So, it's very good for dealing with those types of zombies. So I think he'll go in, compared to other insta-kill plants, he's, I'm kind of undecided here. A tier, yeah. Walnut, he's a defensive plant that when zombies come up, he has high health but does not attack in any way, shape, or form. His only use is to block zombies in that row for a period of time before he dies of death. And so I think he's a B tier. Potato Mine is very useful for in daytime levels, mostly for me. Daytime levels because he's very cheap, only 25 sun, and will cause, it takes him a second, but he'll come out of the ground. And any zombie that steps on him will be blown up to smithereens. So I think he's very useful, but I don't know if it demands of an S tier. I'd say B tier. I do want to put him higher, but compared to other things, it's probably not that useful. Snow Pea is pea shooter except snowy and can freeze zombies for what I think is lower damage. I might have to double check on that, but he might do a little bit less damage for the drawback of being able to freeze them. I think that he's pretty useful. He's going into B tier. Now we have Chomper. He is quite useful for, well, actually not quite useful. I should just do his mechanics first. He is able to, whenever in the first 2 tiles in front of him, he'll eat a zombie. But that drop instantly killing them unless they're like big zombies, like gargantuars. And so, but the drawback is that it takes him like a long time to chew them and swallow them, so then he's ready for the next one. So I never end up really using him. Also probably has bad breath. D tier. Repeater. He's pea shooter, except he's an actual name for a gun, I think, from what I've heard. Don't know what type of gun, but he is. And shoots 2 peas at a time, well, one after another, instead of pea shooter, which has a long reload time. So I think he's B tier. Puff Shroom. He is quite useful during nighttime because he has 0 sun cost and has short range, but is able to kill zombies easily. And because of his low sun cost, he's very spammable. And for that, I think he's pretty high up and goes into S tier. Now the only drawback is in daytime where he goes to sleep, but that's not much of an issue. Sunshroom. Now, if you're a doofus, then you would say, oh, he starts out really small and gives you 15 sun for like for the first half of the level, and then starts giving you actual sun, and he doesn't go any bigger than that in unlike Plants vs. Zombies 2. And to that I say, you're stupid. And you're dumb. In nighttime, sunflowers have to produce less sun than usual. So he's basically necessary unless if you want to be piss poor for the entire time. Now yes, he does start off giving you less sun, but what's good about him is that he's really cheap. He only costs 25 compared to Sunflower's 50, which makes him quite useful because he would overall give you more sun. So I think he's on the same rank as Sunflower's tier. Also, I'm just thinking about this to myself, should I rank them individually on their tiers. Probably I shouldn't, but whatever. Yeah. Fume Shroom. Most people don't really like this guy because he costs 75 sun, which is pretty useful, and he's able to shoot through screen doors on the screen door zombie, which is quite useful. But most people don't like his limited range. It's not really necessarily small, but it's just not useful. But I've noticed in the nighttime levels, if you just put him further up, not too farther up, but further up in general, then he's quite useful. So I say he's a nice B tier. Gravebuster. Now I like using this guy, but he's not quite 100% useful. I mean, he gives you extra plant space, but the graves are gonna be pretty far up anyways. And if you don't know, the graves at the final wave will summon a zombie per grave, and they'll start further up from the far right of the screen. They'll start further left. So he's useful for getting rid of those graves, so you don't get an ambush of zombies. But if you don't have a big range of, if you don't have a good enough defense to deal with them by the final flag, then you're probably doing something wrong. So I say he's C tier. Hypno Shroom. He's given to you for a counter as an early counter to football zombies, or all-stars if you want to be specific. But after that, he's not that useful. Some useful zombies that would be good for him. Right, I should probably explain what he does. Hypno Shroom, when a zombie eats him, will turn around and start eating the other zombies as he makes his way to the right side of the screen instead of to your house on the left side. Which would be quite useful if some of the stronger zombies, which you would probably want to hypnotize, don't have other methods of killing plants other than eating them, like the zombonis, the gargantuars, all that. And some zombies, like the pole vaulter zombie or the pogo zombie, don't even eat at all. Mostly pogo zombie. They'll just jump over the plants. Pole vaulter zombie only does it once, but that's it. But pogo zombie just jumps and jumps unless he gets his pogo taken by a magnet shroom, or if you hurt him enough. So that would mean that you don't even get a chance for them to eat them. So from that, I say that he goes to C tier. Scaredy Shroom. I think he does the same amount of damage as a pea shooter, and costs 25 sun, I'm pretty sure, which is a pretty good steal compared to pea shooters 100. But at the cost of whenever a zombie gets too close to him, he'll hide and be a stupid wimp. The zombies don't even ignore him. He just dies because he's a scaredy cat. But I'd say if you just put him further back, he's pretty useful. B tier. Ice Shroom. Once you place him down, he'll freeze all the zombies on the screen for 3 seconds, I think. And then after that, they're only slowed down for like 5 or I don't know the times, the exact specifics. Basically freezes all zombies on the screen and then chills them later. Which that is quite useful, but not that much. On my playthrough of the game, I don't find much use out of freezing all the zombies at nighttime, and because he's a shroom, you need coffee bean to wake him up, which we'll get into that in a lot. But besides from that, I didn't find much of a use for him. So I think he'll go into, I don't know if he goes into Chompers tier. D tier. Yeah. Doom Shroom, he costs 125 sun, and explodes over like half the screen, I think, maybe 3/4 of the screen. Again, I don't know the specifics. And at the cost of not only extra 25 sun, but he leaves a crater, which will take around like a bunch of time. You're never gonna see it. You're never gonna be able to use that tile unless you stall the zombies enough. So, but it's not really gonna. It's not really that much of a bad thing because you're gonna mostly place them further up on the line instead of further back where you're gonna be placing most of your plants. So he's quite useful, but he's more of a replacement for cherry bomb. So I think he's A tier. Yeah. Squash. Okay, this is gonna be my first unpopular opinion. I think I don't find much use out of Squash. He's able to crush multiple zombies if they're all piled up on each other, like with a walnut or other defensive plant. But there's another cough. But he's not gonna. I didn't really find much use if I could just use other insta-kill plants, which have a way bigger radius. But I still think he's quite useful. I'd say B tier. 3-peater. It's basically it's 3 pea shooters mixed into one. But unlike repeater over here, they don't just shoot all in the same lane except, faster or slow them down or anything. They shoot, one head shoots for a lane above it, and the middle one shoots in front of it, and the bottom one shoots below it. So it's basically the equivalent of having 3 different pea shooters on 3 different lanes, except in one only taking up 1 tile, at the cost of 3 pea shooters. Which, I mean, is kind of useful, and for that one achievement on the pool levels, where you're not allowed to plant on the pool, he's kind of useful. Also, he's given to you as a counter to the scuba zombie, which makes absolutely 0 sense. So, I think he's just okay. But should he go into C tier? I also never really found that much use out of him. I'd say he's D tier. Tangle Kelp is another insta-kill. He's kind of like the aquatic version of Squash. But he isn't able to kill multiple zombies at once if they're piled up on each other. And he usually doesn't take out the zombie you want. So he's just D tier for me. Also, nitpick, how deep is your pool? Like, it seems like he drags them down and drowns them, but number 1, zombies don't need oxygen, so did he just chain them down there? And number 2, your pool can't be that deep, right? Whatever. Jalapeno. I used to pronounce him as jalapeno because I was a dumb idiot child. Anyways, he's like a cherry bomb, except instead of doing a 3x3 radius, he explodes an entire lane, which is quite useful. But I still like, and he's able to take out the Zomboni snow stuff, but with a future plant, which we're coming up right now, can just deal with that by himself. So I'd say he's A tier. Spikeweed. Most zombies it's too low to the ground for most zombies to eat them, unless if they're gargantua or something, and will pop the tires of Zombonis, but at the cost of them being destroyed. It only costs 100 sun, and when zombies step on them, it spikes them and does some damage to them, and with that in combination with a walnut or something, it can do some serious damage, and it works well with the one below it, garlic, which I'll get to that later. So, he's kind of specific, but I like him. He goes into C tier. Torchwood. Places in front of a pea shooter, or any other pea plant, and it sets the pea on fire, which will do double damage, I think, to any plant. Now, if you combine this with a snow pea, that just thaws it and turns into a regular pea, which doesn't really, if you think about it, doesn't really make snow pea worth the extra 75 sun from the pea shooter. Now, this sounds cool in concept, but it's kind of hard to take up a seed slot just to do extra damage if you could just do the same thing by just planting more pea shooters and all that stuff. And there's some other damage dealers that the torch one doesn't work on for it. So he's still quite useful. C tier. Tall Nut. He's Walnut's brother, apparently. Just read the almanac. And he takes more damage. I don't know, maybe 2 times more damage. And if a zombie tries to jump over him, like a pogo or pole vaulter or balloon, I think the balloon zombie can go over him, or any of that stuff, then they'll be blocked. The only zombies that are able to go around plants, that are able to counter him, is balloon zombie and ladder zombie, I'm pretty sure. So, kind of useful. Also blocks, and he's given to you to counter dolphin zombies. But because he's a little bit more expensive than Walnuts, I say he goes in B tier. Yeah, just with his brother. Sea Shroom. I don't like him. He's not that good. He's Puff Shroom. He's a Puff Shroom that, he's a Puff Shroom except for the water. Now, something I don't like about him is that he also costs 0 sun, but he just takes up, he has so slow of a recharge time that you can't spam him all too much, and it's probably worth it just to use a lily pad with a Puff Shroom. But, I mean, you still could use them. So, yeah, I think he's an F tier. Plantern. Oh yeah, him, right, he exists. He, in the fog levels, when you plant him, he lights up an area and removes all the fog there, which he could be useful, like with a pumpkin, which we'll get into earlier, or some other defensive plant. As long as he can kill the zombies before they eat the defensive plant, then he could basically relegate the fog. But from my experience, I just like using blowers, which again we'll get to him in just 2 entries. But he's still quite useful. I think he's C tier. Also, he makes no sense, just in lore wise. I mean, he eats darkness and produces lights. And just because your name has plant in it and you have leaves does not make you a plant. What are you? Cactus. Alright. It does the same, despite seeming sharper and cooler, it does the same damage as a pea shooter, and it's only useful in 1 level where you're able to pop balloon zombies. It extends itself up and pops balloon zombies for 25 extra sun, and then a pea shooter. You say, oh, that's not too bad. But he immediately gets overshadowed by the 2 other plants that do the exact same thing that he does, except better, which includes Blover. Blover is very good. I like him. He removes all the fog on the screen for a short period of time and blows away all the balloon zombies and maybe something else I don't remember. I like him. He's very useful for fog levels and dealing with balloon zombies. But in pool levels, it's better to use the other counter to balloon zombie, which we'll get into later. It's quite situational, but I like him. He goes into B tier. Split Pea. Its front side is a pea shooter that just does pea shooter stuff. He also costs 25 extra sun, and that 25 extra sun is with its birth deformation with its twin on its backside, which is a repeater. The repeater on the backside, well, is a repeater. And if this plant is given to you to deal with the digger zombies, which will dig to the left side of your screen and eat, and then start eating, moving right and eating all of your plants from the backside, which probably won't have that much defenses on it. So he's quite useful for that one level, but then immediately gets overshadowed by the next entry, Starfruit. So I think he goes into D tier. Starfruit. This is my favorite plant in the game. I think. I don't really know. There's a couple favorites in my plants. I just like his design and the way how unique he is. He shoots 5 stars in this formation. His top one shoots a star upwards. This one shoots one diagonally this way. This one shoots a star diagonally downwards. This one shoots directly downwards, and this one shoots to the left. I don't know how much damage they do, probably a pea shooter size or something. And I think he's quite useful, but kind of situational. So I think he's C tier, but I do like him a lot. And if you get a lot of him in the pools stuff, in the pool levels, he could do so quite a lot of damage. And because he shoots directly behind him, it kind of overshadows the split pea. Pumpkin. Alright, I like this guy. He's a cool defensive plant. You're able to plant him on top of plants. Put plants inside of him, but you're able to plant on top of them as well. It does the same thing. And protects plants with a shield. I think he has a little less health than a walnut, but I'm not be sure on that. It only costs 25 extra sun. I think he's a good S tier in the defensive department. Although he's not tall enough to block all those other zombies, but whatever. Magnet Shroom. He basically permanently debuffs all the zombies with magnet tools. Buckethead zombies, which has 3 times health than normal zombies. And pogo zombies takes away their pogo stick, which doesn't allow them to jump over all the plants. Digger zombies, it takes out their pickaxe, which will force them back out of the ground and make them turn into a normal zombie. And there's probably more, but I'm too lazy to list all of them. Quite useful, definitely. So I think he's B tier. Quite useful at debuffing zombies. Alright, now we're on to the roof levels. Cabbage Pult. He's able to all the pult plants are able to fling their projectiles over the bump on the roof, and they're able to fling over the bump on the roof, which makes all the pea shooters kind of useless unless you plant them farther up, which I actually did a lot. And he does this. He costs the same as a pea shooter and all that stuff. Quite useful. Also, from experiences from my brother Uboa, check out his channel. I might link him in the description. I don't know why. He probably seems out of place. But from my brother's experiences, he will be able to shoot. He's able to kill like cone heads faster than pea shooters, and just for that reason alone, God, I don't know. It might be something like I don't even know what to say. He might be in between C tier. Yeah, he's just a pea shooter for the roofs. Kernel Pult. He shoots kernels most of the time. That does a little less damage than a pea shooter, but also lobs over the over the roof. Now he's quite useful for lobbing over the roof, but his major thing is that sometimes instead of shooting kernels, he shoots butter, which will freeze a zombie in place for a couple seconds. It's kind of short, but I like him for it. He does a lot less damage though, but I think he deserves B tier. Alright. Coffee Bean. For some reason, in all the promotional art, he has wings. I don't know why. But he does kind of float there, but whatever. He's able to wake up any mushroom in the daytime. For 75, which I think is kind of expensive, but it's fine. 75 sun wakes up any mushroom, which is quite useful. I do like that. But he costs a little. He's a little expensive. He's a little on the expensive side. So I think he is able to do a lot of that stuff, though. B tier. Garlic. Alright, this is a very specific plant, not world specific, but just specific if you only want to do this the garlic strategy, I've dubbed it, which probably has some other name, where you, okay, I should probably get to its ability. It allows you to, when a zombie eats it, well, takes a bite out of it, it doesn't like the taste of it, which is kind of weird. Zomos, like, what the frick? Well, how come zombies don't like all these other plants, the taste of all these other plants except for garlics? Once it takes a bite out of it, it says, frick this, hell no, I'm getting out of there. And switches to the top or bottom, to the adjacent top or bottom lane, which is good for diverting zombies into a specific lane that you want them into, which you can fill to the brim with spike weeds to do maximum damage to them. So he's quite specific, and he's given in a world that you can't really use his only purpose for. So it's C tier. Umbrella Leaf. This is used as a counter to the catapult zombie, which will shoot basketballs, which I used to think were just giant meatballs or something. I don't know. It kind of looked weird. But he'll shoot a bunch of basketballs to the back lane, the back column of your stuff, and then work his way up. And if he runs out of basketballs, he'll start running over all your plants like a zomboni. Now, Umbrella Leaf counters this by, in a 3x3 area, whenever there's a bungee zombie or a catapult zombie, he'll bounce them back up, and he's very useful. I once did a strategy where I just placed them in every single area where all my plants were, so that none of the plants would get hurt, and it made me invincible. So quite useful. B tier. Marigold. Okay, well, maybe not too, I shouldn't be that harsh on it, but I kind of gonna be. He's not, or whatever, I don't care. They're not really useful for defending against anything, and I never really used them, but my brother likes grinding for coins on them. So here, let me explain. The marigold is a sunflower, except it produces silver and gold coins, which, if you couldn't tell, doesn't really help with defending your entire living. It doesn't help you at all. But if you're able to stall them long enough, you could get a lot of money, which you can spend on Crazy Dave's 20 Dinkies. But doesn't really help at all. So F tier. The melon pulled, strong boy, very strong guy. He deserves A tier. He's a cabbage pole, except costs a ton of sun. I think it's like 300 or something. But he does splash damage, mega boy damage. Really cool guy. He's the final basic plant you unlock in the adventure, and is very good at taking out gargantuars and tons of groups of zombies. Now, I would rank him in S tier, but that's what this guy is for down here. Didn't mean to do that. Alright, Gatlin Pea. These are the upgrade plants. Except for you. You're an oddball. These are the upgrade plants. You plant them on top of one of your previous plants, and you don't unlock them throughout the journey. You have to buy them from Crazy Dave's 20 Dinkies for coins. unlike Plants vs. Zombies 2, EA, where you have to buy them. Not the upgrade plants, but you have to buy plants, just basic plants. Like, who the frick is gonna buy snow peas? Sorry, I'm getting off guard. Gatlin pea. You plant them on top of, repeater, and instead of shooting 2 peas at a time, he hits a freaking Gatling gun and shoots 4 peas at a time. Quite powerful. Yes, very much so. But the problem with upgrade plants is that they take up a seed slot. I say he's A tier. Twin sunflower. Planted on top of sunflower gives you 2 extra sun. Very slow recharge time. But 2 sun at a time is quite useful. But I don't think she's that quite good. Very useful for getting extra sun. God, I'm stuck in between them. I think it's an A tier. Yeah, just A tier. Gloom shroom. Alright, this is one of my brother's favorite plants. Planted on top of fume shroom, and it shoots fumes in a 3x3 area. Now, that's quite cool, right? Yeah, that's cool. Good for the garlic strategy. Quite good. Yes. Kind of specific though, but I'd say he's S tier. Very cool. Cattail. This used to be my favorite plant in the game because I was obsessed with cats. If you couldn't tell from my previous username, which was Kitty Cat Gaming, which I still think that name kind of sucked, but you know, whatever. You plant it on top of lily pads, kind of random, but okay. And it'll shoot homing thorns, sorry, I'm used to saying homing missiles from constant games that would do it. But it shoots homing thorns that pop balloon zombies, which, you know, and homing in on the closest zombie to them, which would be kind of cool if you could change it to homing in on the strongest zombie on the screen, but whatever. Have a ton of these in the pool, and you become unstoppable. S tier. Wintermelon, also S tier. It's just, you plant it on top of a melon pole, and it shoots a melon that does the same amount of damage, except now every zombie that got hit by it will now get shielded and slows them down. So it's just better melon pole. Gold magnet. It's you plant it on top of a magnet shroom, and it it just attracts coins. Wow, very cool. Cool use in using it in magnet marigold, but outside of that, if you're playing on phone, then just use your fingers. Unless if you're missing a couple fingers, then you would probably want to use this. But then why are you should be a little concerned about that instead of playing Plants vs. Zombies on your phone. Probably shouldn't say that, but whatever. Spike rock. Planted on spike weed, do extra damage, and takes like 9 hits or something, I don't know. Does extra damage, and can take 9 hits from Zombonis and Gargantuars. Basically, it better spike weed, but again, spike weed isn't really that useful, so C tier. Cob cannon, S tier. This is one of me and my brother's main survival strategies in survival co-op. You plant 2 of them, and then right. I should probably say you have to put. It's the most confusing upgrade plants. You have to plant 2 kernel pults right next to each other, then plant a cob cannon and on top of them, and it'll take up where the 2 kernel pults were. And it allows you to, when you click on it, you'll point straight up, and you're able to select an area on the lawn to shoot a giant cob on it, and will explode a giant area. Quite useful, if I do say so myself. Imitator. imitator to take up an extra seed slot. Instead, it allows you to copy a seed of another plant and imitate it, and allows you to, now you say, wow, cool, you now have 2 seeds for a single plant, how could that ever be useful? And to that I say, you're stupid. Seeds have a recharge time. So if a plant has a long recharge, even if you have enough sun to buy 2 of them, you won't be able to do that to wait for its recharge time. But with this bad boy, you're able to plant 2 of them at the same time, so without any recharge, which is, I think, quite sick. So A tier, and that is my tier list. I hope you like it. Quite good. Tell me what you think in the comments, or no, don't. I don't really care. And hope you guys enjoyed that video. Yeah, I still don't have an outro. So yeah. Also, if you like this kind of tier list content, like the video. I know I'm not really good at following up on well-performing videos because, yeah, a problem about that is that, I am too lazy. Kinda sounds bad on my reputation, but I'm just kinda not really all intense into this YouTube thing. So, yeah. That's why you don't really see much, with, like, some well-performing videos won't get that much. But I promise, maybe, that if this video does well, I'll do another tier list video. Alright? Goodbye. Yeah.